back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are going to talk about combat. So in our last video, we made it onto this area of the board. I've left off the bottom part because we're just going to stay up here on this area, and it just makes everything easier to fit. But as we revealed this on this side, it says, you know, it's a practice field. It's letting us know that we are starting a combat. Start this combat adjacent in any space adjacent to X. So normally you would enter in here. Big 0 was the larger map tile underneath us, but this tells us, hey, we can come in here. We know foe's going to be right here. I also know that I prefer to shoot my bow at range 3 or 4. You can see down here, and that's my particular character. So keep that in mind, that as we go through these steps of combat, this is going to be specific to a character from the Path of Wandering. Now, Arydia again went above and beyond and gave us practice combat things for each of the paths. So because each one would be a little different, so you could either read through these or kind of walk through these before you actually take your first combat. Very helpful. But we are going to play this one out like normal. So I'm going to slide some things over here. Now, it says up here that we need foe 0. So the first thing we're actually going to do is come into our deck of cards here and into the threat section and pull out threat cards 1 through 12. These should be all of the cards that, if you put your dividers in correctly, should just be those cards. We're going to flip them over here. They're always upside down in the box. And this is our threat deck that we're going to follow to determine what the threat or what the foe is going to do. We're also going to come into one of our other sets of cards, and we're going to find foe 0, who's at the beginning. No surprise there. And so we have, as we flip them over, we have a few things here. We have, it tells us which figure to get. So this is the best part of the game coming up. Gives us a little backstory. It also gives us some FAQs here. These are great FAQs in general for the battle, but otherwise, once you have figured that out, you're going to flip these over. One last thing is, if you are choosing to play with the soundtrack, you can go to Arydia and play the soundtrack for this particular event. So now that we've got these set up, we're gonna put, let's see, we also need this. So just trying to make sure we have room for everything. We need our combo track. We don't need this. We'll put this here, and we'll put this over here. Yeah, actually, we'll do this. There we go. That way you guys are sure to see everything clearly. All right. So we also are going to need some hit markers. We're going to need our wear tokens and also your dice. So we've got everything. We are set up for a combat. The last thing we need is a pre-painted figurine for our foe. So again, best part of the game, going into our advent calendar of people here, and you can see I've already popped this open once. If not, you would just, you know, break through the perforated portion. They are you know, delicate, so be careful. But, and these, to my knowledge, are supposed to stay put, so you can easily identify them. Don't rip this off. Anyways, we're gonna put our little practice dummy right there, and we are good to go. We are now ready to begin our combat. So first thing we need to do here is flip over this card. This is showing us where we need to hit the dummy. So there's 8 circles on this card. Let's bring it up a little closer here. 8 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of them is armored. We're going to put an armored cube on that here in a second, which means we have to remove the armor first. That's his shield. Makes sense. There's also these orange bursts. These are not hit points that we need to cover up with a wound, but if we pass through them in our attack pattern, we can actually follow the orange arrow and also hit those where they're pointing to. So this is now what we're trying to cover up here. Myself, as a character, is going to get 3 actions on their turn 2 basic actions and 1 minor action. At this point, we're ready to begin our battle. Foes get to activate first. So we're going to go ahead and take the top card of the threat deck and flip it over. All right, this is telling us that if a boss was on the map, the boss would activate. If not, we simply add 1 to the threat track. Okay, boom, and that's it. That for that turn, that is all the AI, all the foe is going to do. It just built up its threat. It's going to use that threat to spend to take actions. The more threat it has, the bigger action it can take. Now it's my turn. So we want to move into position because as of right now, we are out of position. We need to be in range 3 to 4, and you count range by counting orthogonally, which I don't think I can make it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. If I was here, I would be within range. So I could not go 1, 2, but I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. And what I think I want to do, so a movement action is a basic action, but it can also be a minor action. So I'm going to take my minor action cube. These 2 are my full actions, and this is my 1 minor action. And I'm going to put it on my feet to signify I am taking a basic movement action. Now, one thing you always get when you take a basic movement action is you get 1 combo point. So we're going to move that up. I wish there was a card that told you that kind of stuff because it's easily forgotten, but we now have 3 points of movement. On the map here, I'm going to move my figure out of the way. You'll see some double lines. This is difficult terrain. This is climbing up on the rock. This is climbing over the log. You have obscured terrain, which is fooling around in this bush, but doesn't block you. And then you have solid lines that is impassable terrain. Okay? So we can't just go wading into the giant puddle. And up here, black is completely, it's a wall. We can't go up here. We cannot get up here. But from here, I can take 1 point of movement and then 2, 3 to use up my movement. I'm now in the bush. I'm hiding in the bush, but I'm also 1, 2, 3 away. And my range or line of sight to him is not blocked by anything. It's just the double white lines don't block ranged. Obscured would. So if I was here, I wouldn't be able to shoot through the bush to the practice dummy. So I'm right where I want to be. Before I take any additional actions, I'm going to take one of my skills. So my skill mark here is a free action. I'm going to take this cube, and this symbol behind it means that this refreshes after combat. So I'm going to take this, and it instructs me to put it on a foe. There's only 1 foe, so obviously I'm going to put it there. This allows me to pay 1 MP to deal an additional aimed damage. The little X on it means aimed, so I don't have to follow a pattern. I can just pick my spot and stick it on there. So again, we are a ranged character. We're all about aiming and sniping and targeting and things like that. So I am going to now take one of my normal action tokens. I'm going to place it on my practice bow. This means that I can't use my practice bow again, but that doesn't mean I can't necessarily take a ranged action again. I could put a basic action on my action here, on my skill, snipe, but it requires 3 combo to take. So I'm going to have to wait until I can spend the 3 in order to take this as a basic action. So right now I'm just shooting him. We can see here that this is an endurance kind of skill check. And unfortunately, I don't have any endurance right now, so it's just going to be a standard D20 roll. I'm looking for at least a 2, which is anything but a critical fail is going to be successful. If I hit a 12 plus, I'm actually going to get to hit him twice. So let's just see what we can do here. And that's a 14, kind of an awkward roll, but we got him. So let's see what we can do with this. We'll also now look here and we'll notice that, I don't know why, but when you shoot a bow, it comes in from the top and goes down. It's like you're shooting down from his head. So our attack pattern has to start at the top of the card and work its way down. And so I either have to start here or here. And I mentioned it, but I forgot to put my blue cube here. So I can either start at this vulnerable location, which would increase his threat, come down and knock off the armor, or I can start here and then hit here and actually cover up 2 spots. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll go here and then we've got a vulnerable spot here. Unfortunately, the vulnerable spot on this character, according to his card, increases threat. So he gets a boop, he gets a bump up there. All right. But I have essentially taken my shot with my practice bow. I've done 2 points of damage out of the total 8 that's going to be required to take him out. And I have one more action left. Again, I'm not within range to use my practice hunting knife because I have to be adjacent to him. I cannot use my snipe skill. I could use rambunctious here, but I don't need to do that right now. I don't feel that it's necessary. And I could have used my broadhead quiver, but that adds 1 range and then gives me the ability essentially to target instead of having to go down from the top. But I didn't want to use that yet either. We'll get to that in here in a second. So my last point of movement, I'm going to take it to use a basic movement action. Now, you can double up minor and basic tokens. You cannot double up 2 basic tokens. So I can now take a basic movement and kind of get out of the way. So I again have 3 points of movement. I'm just going to go 1, 2 through the obscured terrain and back up way out of the way because I know that he's got enough here. So if he activates, he's going to get 6 points of movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I've also positioned myself that he can't get within whack distance of me. He can get within prod distance of me, but he can't do it. And so this is an interesting point that I haven't received clarification on yet as to whether or not, if they can't take this action, are they actually no, because whack is not going to be obscured by that. It's not a ranged action. It's just a melee action with range. So actually he'll probably get to me, but it doesn't matter. So maybe I want to just go back here. No, let's come back down here. We'll just get out of the way because he could get to me there with 4. All right, decisions made. My turn is now done. It's back to the foe. So we're gonna flip over another card for the foe. You can see that the foe's turns are pretty quick once you get to understand how they work. So he's just gaining more stuff. He has enough now to do his bottom action, which is really just the same as the 0, except he's doing additional damage. Not that bad, but he's still just building up threat. I'm fine with that. So now we are going to come back to me. I can replenish my tokens here and decide what I want to do. So maybe I should not have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I need to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I need to be right here. So I think that's what we're going to do. We'll take another minor movement or basic move action as a minor action. We'll get our combo and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and we'll just stop right here. Yeah, there's our 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, I'm counting orthogonally. I'm not sure because I think that if I aim from this corner to this corner, my line of sight does not pass through this bush. So I think I can still make this attack. If he was, say, right here, maybe not so much. But I think from here to here is okay. If somebody feels that I'm misplaying this with that bush there, you let me know. But at this point, we are... Well, no, let's do this, actually. So that's the way we can show off some stuff. We're going to go 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're going to stop here. But at any point in time, I can spend SP, stamina points, to move an additional 2 spots. So I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to spend it to go here, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and we're going to stop right there. I'm okay with that, even though he's going to be able to get to me no matter what. Yeah. Too many indecisions here. Too many decisions. I'm going to stop right here. So at this point, I'm 5 range away. So I'm going to use my quiver of practice arrows. you can see that this will refresh at the end of combat. I'll simply just return my cube to it. But for now, I'm getting +1 range. I'm also going to be able to mark or snipe my, not snipe, but choose exactly where I want to target my shot instead of doing the downward from the top. So that's what my practice arrows are giving me. So I still have to take a basic action. I'm still putting it on the bow, and I'm still going to roll this die. And it is a 20. Oh my gosh, perfect 20. So a perfect 20, let me remind myself, yeah, gives me in combat, it gives me +2 combo, which is not that great. If you were adventuring, a +2 20 roll gives you certain cards. But for now, I just increased my combo. So I'm still only hitting for 2, but I get to start anywhere and then just go orthogonally from there. So I think... Now, since it's not a directional arrow, I don't believe I can say I'm coming in from the right and take out this. But I'm pretty sure I can go here to here, passing through this critical spot, and that critical spot points to, ta-da, there. Okay. I could also now choose, since he is marked, to spend 1 MP to deal a marked point of damage anywhere I so choose. And I think we're going to go ahead and, yep, we're going to spend that. So here I'm spending 1 MP, and I'm going to mark this point of damage right there. So I'm doing pretty good against the practice dummy. All right. I could now snipe. And I believe, I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure whether or not my additional range and this ability of quiver practice arrows is good for my whole turn or just my next action. So I'm going to wait just to, I'm going to try and get the, I'm going to hope the practice dummy activates here. So I'm actually going to move over here and just go boom, boom with my last basic move action and get plenty of combo stuff. All right. Because I kind of want to show off how the practice dummy activates. All right. So I'm just going to skip until, there we go. All right. In this case, we read from top to bottom, and this says mobs activate, or they gain 1 threat. Well, finally, the practice dummy is considered a mob. If we were playing with 3 or more players, we'd have some tokens out. There would be multiple practice dummies. Finally, we get to spend some stuff here. So we are going to spend 3 threat. So he actually spends it. He doesn't just get to keep his threat. And that targeting priority, again, he's going to go after us no matter what, but that's closest to target. The middle one is furthest away. So he's going to take the closest target, and he wants to take the prod action. So the prod action, he needs to be adjacent to us. If he were taking the whack action, he would want to be 2 away. All right, so he's actually going to try and get right next to us, which he can easily do. 1, 2 movement gets him there. All right, and his prod action also tells us that he's going to roll the gray die versus the red die for whack. All right. So we're going to take our gray die, and all of these dice show you where on your body you could be hit. So we know that the practice dummy doesn't even roll these 2. The blue die hits, sorry, I'm holding these up. Let's hold them all like so I can explain this properly. All right, because your feet are always at the bottom. I always get them backwards. I always want to make this the head and have it sticking up. It's actually the feet that stick out the bottom. So the red one, it's always like a slash down from the top, or maybe a practice bow, who knows. But you're always going to hit near the top. The head, shoulders, and body are going to be hit by the head. The yellow one is going to come up from the bottom. Maybe this is like an explosion from the ground. It's going to hit your feet, your hands, your legs. The blue one is going to come in from either side. So this is going to hit your arms, hands up to your shoulders on either side. This is the one that the prod is the one that we have to roll. And it's basically focusing on the interior. So it's going to focus on your head, your legs, your arms. It doesn't deal with your shoulders or your hands or your feet. All right. So we're going to give this a roll, and perfect. All right. We rotate this around. We can kind of stick it right here. And the black is where we are taking the hit. The pips just remind us where we could be hit. So we're taking a single prod shot to the practice shirt. So this is our armor. If we were taking it to our, say, arms, we'd have no armor there. Our practice shirt, however, only blocks one hit, and it only has one wear. So the anvil is the wear, the shield is how much it blocks at a time. It's done now. So we put that there. That practice shirt has been torn to shreds. It's no longer good. The prod that he took gives +1. So unfortunately, we only blocked one of the incoming damage. We are going to have to take a hit. We're still at 2 HP, so we're still doing good. That finally is the practice dummy taking a turn. We had to cheat a little bit for him, but that's fine. All right. It's going to come back to us. Let's reset our actions here. Now, at this point, I could spend 3 of my combo points to take the snipe action. I also could save my stuff to, if I get to 7, which is the limit break, I get to take a free action. If I get to here, 7 with the threat for the other characters, all foes are going to activate, which is, and they get +1 to their activation. So we don't want that to happen, but I'm just wanting to end this for the purposes of the tutorial. Plus he put himself in melee range of me, so I can use my practice knife. Boom. Now my practice knife swings in diagonally from the outside, but that's okay because I can still swing diagonally and, you know, swipe up at his head. This is kind of the motion that you take. You're holding it in your right hand and you're going swoosh at an angle. All right. So we simply have to roll our d20, hope for anything but a critical fail, and that's a 7. I thought for a second it might have been a 1. So we were successful. We do not hit it twice, but that's fine. At this point, we only have his shield to deal with. So we're going to take a basic movement action to go 1, 2, 3. At this point, I can count line of or range 1, 2, 3. So we're within the range of our bow. And we finally, and I took a basic movement action, and I don't know whether I was on 4 or 5, but it doesn't matter. We can finally take our snipe action. So I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3, and this requires a bow. So we kind of are following this, you know, the range here, but this is what we're looking for. So we are trying to just get 2+ to hit him anywhere. And the important thing about the snipe is that if you look closely here, there's a little blue border around that X. So not only is it an aimed shot where I get to pick where I'm hitting him at, but it's armor piercing. So it is a super sniper shot. It's going to go straight through any armor and blow up that spot. So this is exactly what we need. Again, all we need is 2+. We got a 14, which is all we need. This goes straight through the armor, and that spot, boom, we get to mark it off, and the character is now dead. I forgot to increase their threat technically when I hit his weak point, but I was pretty sure I was taking him out. We have now successfully defeated the foe, and the last thing you do is you get to gain your rewards. So you're going to get, no matter what, in this case, 1 XP. So I would add 1 XP to my board here, but then we also get to roll. So you can see that I'm going to roll a d20 here and hope for something. I got a 15. That's pretty good. So I'm going to get 2K, and that's the money. That's the money symbol in this game. If I had rolled a perfect 20, I would have been able to dig into the wood chest and blindly pull something out, which it would have been some kind of equipment, most likely. 2 to 9, I got 1K, 15. So I would then go find my K here, and I would give myself 2K. Now that's for the party. In this case, if I was playing with multiple players, everybody would gain 1 XP. We would share the 2K, or if we pulled out something from the wood item, there's a little tiny 1X there, we would just have to choose who got it. Otherwise, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you conduct combat. I know that was a little lengthy. It is not for the faint of heart, but I really like the options. The AI, once you get playing with it, is really quite simple to control, and there is a lot of strategy in building up your combo track, especially because it's a shared track. So if I use up all that 3, then the person coming behind me isn't necessarily going to be able to maybe use a skill like snipe. But really fun. I like, these die and trying to build up my armor here on my character. Obviously, I want more than just my practice shirt and practice pants, but just really enjoying, honestly, the complexity of the combo. Again, it's not for the faint of heart. It is a little complex. It takes some thinking, but some of us want that, and that's what this game is giving us. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Again, I'm still kind of learning the game too, so I may have gotten some stuff wrong here, so please be gentle in the comments if I did miss something. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.